today I would like to share like this study with you. But first, but, but first, I have to share you one observation. And let's start reporting my student as well. Okay. Working in the IT industry is really challenging, really hard. And it's like a lady code, all the technical skills and everything, but nothing compares to do one thing, explain what you do to your runtime. And this is really tricky, but I was actually close. I worked for a few years of faster QA, and I was really close to having this nice, clear explanation for a personal side of T what the tester does. And then at this point, my boss came to me and asked, would you like to switch to the position of technical product owner? And I was like, why are you doing this to me? Like, how does this task to a person outside of tech? It doesn't even sound like a real job now. So if you have any advice on how to encourage it, please share your peak to recovery. So I did work as QA for some time, and often in like smaller projects, for example, in like standard versatile Scrum teams when I was just versatile QA. Manual testing, took some automation as well, etc. And usually quite simple landscape of maybe 2 or 3 collected systems the most. Currently, I'm in a really big project. It's apparently one of the biggest banking projects in Europe with several keeps and very, very complicated architecture. And first I was a QA, now like this technical EO. So I would like to share with you how different it is to work in such a big project compared to like this other one. And the presentation would focus on Python, but there will be some Python finish later. And this breaker, I will share some diagrams or some data, which won't be actual project data, actual combat data, which I will share me to MBA. But I did carefully craft in some examples, some of them used with the aid of AI, so that you can understand the ideas. And let's talk a little about the project. This is banking industry. Has anyone of you worked in a bank? Have it before? And well, there are many stereotypes about working in a bank in the IT industry. For example, that there's a lot of legacy that is not very modern. There are very rigid processes in highly regulated industry. On the other hand, you could also have modern banks, startup banks. And I think that even if you work in more traditional older bank, there might be some challenges also for your development as a professional. What challenges do I face in my project? Well, imagine there is this bank. It was set up a long time ago, likely before there were any digital systems though. And then some first digital system was set up. System A, which currently is most skilled legacy. Then after some time, some other piece of software might have been implemented to build some other processes. After some time, the bank might have merged another one, and then kind of like developing their own systems. And it happened several times. There are some components which you could exchange the information, data, but after some time, it was decided that, well, you cannot just work like that. We need one nice bigger system that will have it to our database, that will have a nice UI and everything. So that it's a system of type of core system. But since we still had these old ones, legacy ones, we need to, kind of like make the data flow between synchronized. Possibly we need to add some kind of intermediaries to just the process of data. So all in all, we might end up with something complex like this, or like this. This is an AI-generated example, but it nicely illustrates our problem. We have core system, but we have also some legacy ones, some entity gateways, some streaming platforms, and it's a complex ones. So why cannot we just live like that? Well, there's a problem. Obviously, if you want to implement any feature and, for example, perform regression testing of that, you've had with that. Or let's say you want to perform an audit of cybersecurity requirements for all of the systems. Obviously, we don't want to have something like that. So what do we do? Well, let's just get rid of everything. Or some of the systems, then just leave a couple of them. Okay, so this is what the project is basically about, simplification. But each time you remove something, obviously it's not an easy task, it doesn't happen overnight, and you have a lot of testing. It's not like it had all the, one test environment, one test, one pre-prod, etc. There are literal tens of test environments, some for testing the single components, some are the partially integrated, and there are also fully integrated test environments. And there are multiple tested things. Some of them are more focused on the features, some are focused on the quality of migrated data, but there is another task that needs to be performed. We need to actually ensure that in our test environment, all of these integrations are working well, that the data is flowing without any interruptions. And if those interruptions happen, someone needs to locate what happened, which that team should fix it, how to fix it. And this is roughly what IT does. So we are for these integrations and increasing by availability of environments. But before we dive deeper into what we do, project management, because this is quite relevant. If you have such a big project, you wouldn't just go with regular Scrum, because this is suitable for smaller companies, but you still want to be agile. You might not want to go for waterfall, so we will take agile, combine it with projects. You can just scale agile and have to scale agile. And there are various frameworks like that. The one used in Microfunny is called Surprise, Scale Agile Framework. The abbreviation is SAFe. Has anyone of you worked with SAFe? Sure. Some people, not all. General, I know a lot of people who did work in SAFe, but only a few of them actually understand what SAFe is about and are fully fluent in what we are doing there. I will try to explain it to you shortly. SAFe is complex, but at least a few words on it. So imagine you have a tray, and this tray has carriages for cars. Each carriage that has some compartments, or I have no compartments, there is one big open space. Like this one has 4 compartments in this picture, for example. So each compartment will be occupied by 1 team, sort of like a spread team. And then we will have some more carriages. This will form the entire frame. And this is like a basic unit, which is called Adapt Release Train. And the goal of Train is to just deliver some functional piece of software, their entire features or entire systems. And the abbreviation is ART. So, delivering entire features is the definition for Scrum team. So basically, ART is like king of thieves. But the consequence is that we have more than one backlog. We have one backlog for the entire parts, we got backwards for spreadsheets, so it gets kind of complex. And you are a maker of such a thing, well, you might get overwhelmed first. What more? There or does one not? That's the idea. And the arts can be also paid by the root. In the case of my company, there are arts which are business oriented and ones that are technically oriented. So like there can be an art, for example, that will be flows, another one Obaiba, etc., etc. But there will be also special arts for infrastructure or doing the migrations, for example, cross-topical. So now we can understand what a technical product owner could be. That would be product owner of a fully technical team. So not really dealing with any business requirements, more like technical ones. And each team will have a Scrum Master, will have product managers. On the art level, each train has a conductor who is called train release engineer. So something like Scrum as Scrum did. And all arts produce solutions, so the product that's possible of deliver for our plan. It's a complex, and if you go to the official site page and see the schema, it creates really overwhelm you. So if we're if we wanted to go into details, take a lot of time, but this was just a hint for taking those arts. So our team, we are in the technical art, and we have technical product owner, SM, the digit Scrum Master, but we have also, we have actually someone who is for service manager, and we have test automation engineers. All the members are test automation engineers at the moment, so it is a highly specialized team. What does a technical product owner do? Well, it's a bit like normal product owner, so owning the vision on the team, the backlog, communicating with stakeholders, which are basically all the people around us, also people with the same art. So it is this nice interface between the team and the rest of the project. And then it's also prioritizing the tasks, representing the team outside. And how do we test? For our tests automated. And we mainly use icon tests, so we don't really use a lot of UI automation. We did this in the project by other kicks. We don't have manual test cases, we don't test in features, we don't test business cases. Unless there is some new feature collective integrations. And what automation do we have? Wow, here there is Python, so we have it today. So Python and Rapid Framework is one of the tech stacks used in the project, but actually what my team is using and my art is mainly using is C# with some libraries and some EG and some others. So we have various technologies applied. We have a really large test automation framework. In smaller projects, I will sometimes just have some small test automation framework, maybe built by 2-3 QA automation engineers. Here we have let's say 30 people or more casually using this right now, 12 copies. So it's a creative big, and here challenge is try to do code review. And then, you need to just follow all the rules that are decided on in the project. We have this .NET solution, and there are actually many projects within it. We have product with common methods, common code for everyone. We have, for example, a framework within the framework, Selenium 1. And there are some projects used by some arts and some projects on the team level visible on as well. And then we use some common code, based on, for example, methods for there or from the Selenium framework or whatever we need, and also have our own code. And so we need to resist the code to the roots there. And design patterns for our code. Of course, if you know how test automation works, you will usually expect hide object there. It is there in the Selenium code, but there are also some elements applied adapter design pattern. We had some code layer to communicate in various legacy systems. We have some elements of facade, which is that just this layer. Like impact projects would be really useful to have this code layer to, let's say, carry out some part of that business process, which is just used frequently. And a lot of custom design, and we are constantly having this effort to refactor these bulbs to make cleaner as it was worked on my people with us. So you can imagine it's a big complex and not always 100% clean. And what my team is using is an approach which might be a bit surprised because we have integration tests which are actually end-to-end. You normally think of integration tests like tests of integration between two components, both regular ones. We tend to focus on the tests for entire business processes. For example, we initiate some business process in core system, which that goes through some other systems, some API gateway, some storing path for legacy systems, and then it goes back to the core system. Let's say you have a process where some data is synchronized to all of these components. And our focus is to make sure that the entire flows work. So then some manual testers, some testers focused on features can actually test without any interruptions. And with that complex infrastructure and legacy systems, we do experience some issues that needs to be fixed on regular basis. And our challenge is actually to pick some business processes that will allow us to, test all the flows. Like here we have this one, then you have a test that covers some other ones. So we need to find that connection between the business landscape and how it is reflected in the architecture, which is quite the challenge, to also document all of that. And we do carry out constant monitoring. We have some tests running constantly during environment's operating hours. And then when the test fails, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes we can easily identify which component is down, what is to be fixed, then assign the tickets to the right develop fix. But it's not always that clear. Some legacy systems don't have perfect error blocking. Or some issues are intermittent, we are not really sure why it's failing, it thinks that everything is okay. Then there is another task to do. Works. We don't have a physical worm like this one, which is kind of cool, but our worlds are virtual in teams, and you just gather people from Parley's teams who are rather bad to the investigation. We are the facilitators of these investigations. We take care of all these issues until they are actually solved. And we watch over and so that someone actually remembers to carry on the investigation. And what challenges do we face? Our technical ones. Well, we have various types of systems. Some are legacy, some are more modern. So obviously you need to come up with some ideas how to approach this automation, how to effectively monitor them. Infrastructure is complex, and sometimes there are just infrastructure issues which need to be distinguished from, like, for example, issues connected to some new code which is introduced. And the stability of these components is not always high. So in simpler words, sometimes it's just so tough to make or automatic tests talk to these systems and assert the expected results. And we also have soft challenges. we do have a lot of people, like several hundred, a few hundred people in the project itself, and there are also different projects in our IT department. So this is a lot. We have many teams. We have a few time zones. So it's a typical synchronous, this work. And we have at least 3 or more cultural backgrounds that people come from. So we found various ways of communication and various mindsets when in a project work, which is in challenge. And, well, how could I conclude that? What are actually the differences between working in just a small scrap team or small project compared to large projects? A main difference that influences my everyday work is that we have narrow focus. So you cannot even be a versatile QA who will do everything, or a developer who does numerous tasks. Each tick is focused on specific component or specific area, as it would be possible to rust everything in the project because it is so big. And then we have 100% technical hours and teams, which gives you this chance to have this deep dive into technical stuff. Like you can talk about architects, DevOps people, etc. As a QA can allow you for a nice some development. But on the other side, your distance from business, it might be hard to actually grasp this business domain and to combine this business knowledge with technical one because you want costly for these people. And of course, you have either safe or other scaled other frameworks like less. So we had to grasp this and we have to adapt to working more forward frameworks. The most important lessons learned. You do need to learn patience. Of course, partly because it's a regulated industry, but also because if you have such a big project, sometimes you need to take time looking for people who can help do something. Sometimes you need to wait for some decision. You need to have meetings to align about something. You have longer timelines, but you have a chance to gain per knowledge and feel this stability. It's not like some startups who will just create some app. It will take maybe 6 months, and after another 6 months, maybe you will pull it out of market because, you think, okay, this is not it. Here, you have projects that are planned for years, and actually, you find out that you need to learn this domain landscape, and this is the biggest challenge. There are these, technical details. For example, you can measure your value as a developer by just being able to grind 1,000 tasks in code. But this is not what will help you here. Here you have to have a bigger picture. So this challenge actually lies elsewhere. And people are how to operate on our solutions, how to cooperate. It's working on code that is worked on by many people, many teams. You need to synchronize with these people. You learn how to be flexible because you cannot have people from various countries. Sometimes you talk to technical people, sometimes business ones. You have some people who will be very dynamic, to have ones who will take a lot of time to respond to. So it's challenging and other level. And I like the most important part, not to be afraid of mistakes. The project is big and no one grasps the type project, the full knowledge. And you need to learn that you're gonna not know something. And sometimes you just have to check. I don't know this, I have to check. I have to ask this. People are sometimes afraid of that, but you just cannot thrive if you don't accept that, if you do not have this trust within your team, within your art, to just admit that and to communicate openly, sincerely. And this is really any part of fun at what if you don't. That was all. And here are okay, don't hold up, nice. Here there is a QR code. I knew this window in Dzikowska. There is also a place to ask Amelia your questions. And my website, you can get in touch with me. Also for people living in Wrocław, I might be announcing some new QA event coming to Wrocław soon. It's not confirmed yet, but if it happens, put it in my socials, so follow me if you're not gonna miss it. And thank you for your attention. How do you manage quick and top fixes in your team? Like when it's completely break, there is some partner, like everything is down, but it increases for clicks, and then you have to spread the flag of without visible and make it just work for test. And how do you keep your code clean and they are going their paths when it's some problems? I can sure better asking the question, like you say when it's like everything is out, you have a huge problem. You need full six, where, but the builder, he takes is political, but he fixes the problems. And how many times does that meant make code better and skill fix the problem? It's a hard question. I think it all depends on the team, because each team kind of decides that they're off on their own. If they want to sacrifice time for improving code, or sometimes there is limited because they have so many tasks, like requirements coming, and so it really depends, I guess. And obviously, like always in life, cannot always get perfect quality quick codes. But if we can really slowly work to improve the task, it's not always possible. You mean a good vida is thing.